It is such a pleasure to see so much green in a room that is our green rather than the green we saw last week. But it is a great and beautiful day in Huntington, and we're so glad to see so many friends of Marshall here. It's a special day for a number of Marshall supporters, but an especially special day for the Gillette family and for Marshall University. So it's just an absolute pleasure to be here. I'm honored to be a part of a ceremony that honors some folks who have spent nearly a lifetime of helping out Marshall and continue to do so. So I'd like to first welcome up to the podium the CEO of the Marshall University Foundation, Dr. Ron Area, who will share the Foundation's appreciation.
Good morning, everybody. We were planning on having this event over near the Pathway area, and the weatherman said there was a greater than 50% chance of rain, so, you know, you better be, I'd rather be lucky than smart, so we decided to move it in here, and I hope this setting is well received by everybody. We're here to honor the Gillette family, and it's been my privilege over the last 4+ years to get to know the family and members of the family, and 4 grandkids that are here, and the interrelated members of the family and friends, and it's so good to have you all here. It's very, very important for us to be able to recognize this milestone in the Gillette family. Let me tell you a little bit of a story about Joe. I've gotten to know Joe and Pam pretty well. My wife and I have really enjoyed getting to know them. And I look back a little bit, and you know, Joe came to Marshall from Ohio, and Pam came here from Bluefield, and they met here, and you know, and after Joe graduated, he was very involved in the food business, franchise business. He's done very, very well. And when he started making small gifts, $25 here, $100 here. I mean, he started right away, right after he graduated in the 70s. And then he decided he wanted to get involved in different types of things, and you know, then he made a $1,000 gift. And when he made that $1,000 gift, he expected the president to call him. Instead, he got a letter, and I don't know if he got a call from a development officer or not. He should have, but he just got a letter. And he thought, you know, maybe I got to get more involved with the Alumni Association, the Yeager Society, you know, and this really just started to take off. And so he did. He was a member of the Alumni Association, and then we recruited him to come on the foundation board right after I came here. And then Lance West has been working with him so carefully over the number of years, and right after I came, you know, Joe and Pam said, you know, I really want to be able to do something, and you know, I'm thinking about maybe doing something. I'd like to maybe name something for my dad. So we talked about different types of things, and voila. We had just renovated the Recruitment and Welcome Center, and we offered an opportunity to the Gillette family to step up and make a pledge to honor Joe's father, a name for Joe, and have the Welcome Center named for him, which was a fantastic opportunity for us. And we really appreciated them being willing to come up and do that. Well, it wasn't much, you know. Lance and I, anytime we have somebody that's that actively involved, we continue to progress, all right? That's our job. We got to keep people happy, all right? So we visit with Joe and Pam, and Joe realizes that we're getting ready to come into this building, and we're going to recognize all our donors, so we expanded our gift recognition societies, okay? And we shared with Joe that he was in the Buffington Society, which is in the $250,000 to $500,000 range, based on the gifts that he had given so far. And he's looking at it, and he says, you know, what is it going to take to get me to the $1 million level, the Pathway of Prominence? I said, well, Lance says, well, you give us a check for $500,000, you're there. You know? Well, you know, at that, I think we did it over a lunch. I think Lance did it over a lunch or dinner. Poor Pam and Joe, they just choked on that piece of beef and barely got it down. And Lance backed off, and he visited with me, and he said, well, there are many different ways to get to that level. After a lot of discussion, they decided to make an irrevocable plan gift. The irrevocable plan gift definitely can be counted. It gets him up over that hump and created that opportunity for him to be recognized in the $1 million level Pathway of Prominence. But the story's not over yet. After that, you know, Lance and I are still working on the Gillette family and everything else, and yeah, I know, it's what he said. Joe shared with me, Ron, Pam and I absolutely love supporting and giving to Marshall University. Please help us get to the next plateau. Hey, folks, the next plateau is the $5 million mark. And I said, wow, you know, what could do? You know, and I'm thinking, okay. So my immediate response to him, I said, Joe, I want to do everything I possibly can to help you and Pam meet your goals and desires. So that's where we are, folks. We are just so grateful for the support of the Gillette family and Pam and Joe and their love for Marshall, and as one of our newest members of the Pathway of Prominence. So thank you. Let me introduce President Kopp, Dr. Stephen J. Kopp. A lot of things that have happened. Oh, I am sorry, Betsy. I apologize. All right, I'm sorry. Yeager class of 2010, Betsy Trues, who's here, representing Truex, representing the Yeager Society and expressing their appreciation from the Society of Yeager Scholars. Sorry, Betsy. Okay.
My experience at Marshall was, in a word, phenomenal. A large part of that was due to the Yeager program, whether it was from my first days on campus with Yeager Retreat, my last days as an undergraduate student with the medallion ceremony, or seminars, Oxford, and everything else in between. Hi! The Yeager program was always there for me. And it was through the Yeager program that I met Joe and Pam Gillette. When I first came to Marshall, I was informed that I would be the Joe Gillette Scholar. I was very honored to have received this, but at that point it didn't really hold any extra special meaning for me. Later in the fall, when I'd met Joe and Pam, I was inspired by what distinguished alumni they were, and I strived for that myself. And I felt that was very important early in my career that I had that influence. Fast forward a couple years, I'm now a student ambassador. For those of you who don't know, student ambassadors give daily tours to incoming and prospective students, and these tours leave out of the Welcome Center. So imagine my delight when I found out that the Welcome Center was to be named for Joe's father, and I was to be part of that ceremony as well. And of course, that held extra special meaning for me as I got to be there at least once a week in the building that he had chosen to honor. Fast forward again, a little bit later, I'm now looking for an internship. And again, Joe came to the rescue. He helped me find an internship in Charleston where I gained invaluable experience. These are just a select few examples of how Joe and Pam had positively influenced my Marshall experience. I feel very fortunate to have met them, and I believe that Marshall University and the Yeager program are very lucky to have such kind and dedicated individuals as part of the Marshall family. Thank you for all that you do. Thanks. And we have a special gift for you. It's been said that you requested this several years ago, so here you go.
Oh, thank you, Betsy. This is a picture of Betsy actually doing a retail, one of the, was this a Yeager
The retreat, yeah, freshman retreat, yeah.
She showed me this.
Next, President Kopp would like to speak.
A lot of emotions and thoughts kind of bouncing through my head, and hopefully I can assemble them into a cogent address from the heart of what Joe and Pam mean to Marshall University. I've had the pleasure, as has my wife Jane, to get to know Joe and Pam as friends, very dear friends. Ron's touched on what they've done for the university from the donor and philanthropy point of view. And those contributions have certainly been extremely important to the university. As Sarah Denman can attest, the naming of the Recruitment and Welcome Center for Joe's dad was a tremendous opportunity for us to recognize Joe's dad and what he meant to Joe and Pam and their family. But the subtext of this was that at that particular point in time, we were undertaking major renovations in that building to support what was a flagging recruitment program that we really had to re-energize if we were going to meet the goals that we had set for the university. In other words, we needed a center that truly was an eye-popping center for prospective students when they came to campus to kind of energize their interest and also showcase what this university really is all about. And when I was talking with Joe and Pam, Joe came to me and says, "What can I do to help?" Because that's the way Joe and Pam are. And we said, "Well, Joe, we really could use your help with this particular project because it's so vitally important to the future of this university and to what matters most as we go ahead." And Joe, there's no hesitation in making that gift. And so my experience with both Joe and Pam has always been they approach things from the point of view of what will help the most. Whether it's in our athletic programs, whether it's in our academic programs with the Yeager Scholars, whether it's in recruitment and admissions, Joe and Pam are those people that are unassuming behind the scenes, but who have a keen eye for what will matter most for the future of this university. In my conversations with Joe and Pam, which have been many, I don't think you'll find more unassuming, gentler people. But I've also learned in my conversations with Joe that there's a firmness about them. When Joe sees something that he's deeply committed to and where he wants to help, Joe pushes a little bit. And I appreciate that because it tells me this is something that Joe really is passionate about, he and Pam. And oftentimes, as a president of the university, there's a lot of competing interests, and I hear very often, "I love Marshall University." Well, more often than not, what that translates to is what Marshall University can do for them, not what they can do for Marshall University. That has never, ever been the case for Joe and Pam. They always want to be there to help. They want to see things through, and that's very important to me as well. And so there's been a real resonance and harmony with regard to their commitment to the university, my commitment to the university, and I'm sure everyone's commitment that's here today to what matters most. And what does make a difference are people who recognize that this university is their university, where they have an opportunity to become involved. And if you look at Joe's involvement in the university, the foundation board, the Yeager board, leadership roles throughout these organizations, that's not by chance. It's a path he's chosen for he and Pam, and we deeply appreciate it. What I like most about Joe is we can sit and talk philosophy about leadership. And Joe has been a leader in business. He's been a leader in just about anything he chose to do, whether it was playing football and his leadership role. He has that it, if you will, of what it means to be a leader. Sometimes it's hard to define exactly what that means. But I truly cherish the time we have together. He is a dear friend, as is Pam. And that friendship extends beyond gifts to the people who are behind those gifts and what it means to me, what it means to Jane, what it means to our university. Joe and Pam, thank you so very much for being who you are and for all that you do for Marshall University. We love you. Thank you.
We'd like to take a few moments to allow the Gillette family to share this special day with us and a few thoughts on behalf of the family.
Wow. What do you say after that? But I promise you, the gifts that Pam and I have given, they truly have been from our heart. And we feel like today is almost over the top because we have already been thanked so many times, and maybe not in just words, but in how people have received us and how people treat us here at Marshall University. And we are just so grateful to be part of this wonderful place. Pam and I decided we would make one other gift today, and that gift is we're going to keep this short. Okay?
No pun intended.
No pun intended. But there are a few people that I want to thank because I got to tell you, you don't get in life wherever you are and where we are today just by chance. It happens because of the decisions you make, and part of that is the people that you surround yourself with. And I have been very fortunate from the very beginning to be part of a family that, even though we didn't have a lot of money and everything when we were growing up, but my parents were very giving people, and that's something they instilled in us. And every step of the way, even though I'm the only one in our family that attended Marshall University, I will tell you that my family sitting here, I think every one of them has a Marshall room. I don't, you know. They have literally a Marshall room, and almost everything that, whenever I get something, it's a decision about who's going to get it for their rooms and different things. And I got to tell you that I wouldn't be here today without you. Thank you. And I got to tell you, I think every good leader will tell you that they have been mentored either directly or indirectly through wonderful leaders and examples that they've been fortunate enough to have as part of their life. And Pam and I feel like at Marshall we have had that blessing. And I would be a bad person if I did not thank David and Carolyn Hayden, Jim and Verna Gibson, Tim and Sandy Haymaker, for really mentoring us in giving and being involved at Marshall. These are people that are all big givers of Marshall, and I'll tell you, we feel like our life has been blessed being able to be part of their lives and see the example that they have set for us for giving back to Marshall University. So thank you all for being part of that. And as I said, we'd keep it short. I'm almost speechless. This is way over the top. We have already been blessed with just the opportunity to be part of this wonderful family here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, first class, really, truly. Well, the moment we've all been waiting for, to use a cliche, if I could welcome Dr. Kopp, Joe and Pam and family. Folks, please come forward. I'm going to mark this special day with something that is in place just across the way over here on our Pathway to Prominence. So please, if you can come forward. We'll get pictures afterward with the entire family.